What's up, alchemists? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're here with another deep dive to Remnant 2, and today we're covering all things handler. If you love the idea of having a loyal dog companion by your side, dishing out damage, providing buff, saving you in a pinch, then the handler might just be your perfect archetype. In this video, we'll go over how to unlock the handler, break down the handler's perks, skills, and unique prime perk, plus some tips on how to get the most out of your furry little friend. So let's jump right in, we got a lot to cover. First up, let's talk about unlocking the handler archetype. If you didn't choose the handler as your starting archetype, all good. You can still unlock it later by crafting the Silent Whistle Engram. To do this, you'll need the Old Whistle item, which you can buy from Mudtooth in Ward 13 for 1500 scrap. He's also one of my favorite characters in Remnant. I love his quirky freaking stories. He's just all. It's a small price to pay to bring this versatile support class into your lineup. And how could you not want this little dog? Look at him. He's adorable. Look, you can even pet the dog. Look, he loves to be pet. You can pet him. You can love him. He's a good little doggo. And he saves your ass more than you probably even know. Now let's jump into the handler prime perk, Bonded. So Bonded, this perk allows your loyal dog companion to revive you if you're down, bringing you back with 50% health. As you level up, this cooldown for this perk decreases from 120 seconds to 90 seconds at level 10. This perk is really a game changer, especially for solo players. In multiplayer, you can even order your dog to revive your teammates, making handler an essential support role for co-op. As a note, you and your allies must have a relic charge for this to work. If none of you have relic charges, it's game over. But make sure you're using your relic charges wisely so your handler can res you in the chance that you are downed. I happen to really like this perk. It has saved my ass a few times in my playthroughs. I've been in other playthroughs with some co-op friends, and the having them command the dog is pretty awesome to go there and save your booty if they can't make it over to you. Let's move on to our handler perks and break them down. Inside of Remnant 2, all your perks are broken down into 4 categories. You'll have a damage, team, utility, and relic perks. So this is Pack Hunter. This is your damage perk. Gain 30% ranged, melee, and skill damage, and 5% ranged, melee, and skill critical chance, while the companion is within 60 meters of the handler. The damage increases with the handler level, so as you're leveling up, it'll end up hitting a max of 30% and 5%. Not a bad damage perk. Makes this a very versatile perk overall. You could pair this with a challenger or a hunter or a gunslinger, engineer, evoker, whatever you're feeling, because it just pairs very well. The 30% ranged melee skill damage and the 5% crit chance. So not too bad overall versatile damage perk. Next one is our team perk, which is Spirit of the Wolf. This is going to increase movement speed by 10% for all allies within 15 meters of the handler, and they gain the handler's movement speed if faster. Reduces the stamina cost of actions for allies by 15%. Not a bad team perk. Lets you move faster and reduces the cost of actions for dodging and things like that. So not too shabby. Our teamwork, this is our utility perk. The handler and a companion gain 30% increased revive speed, which is massive. While the handler or companion are reviving, they also receive 50% less damage. This is a great boost because reviving is pretty slow, and taking 50% less damage while you're reviving your ally is great for you or your companion. A nice little perk to have. And last one is Best Friend, which is our relic perk. Using a relic fully restores a companion health and grants them 25% damage and 35% damage resistance. So if you see your pet is your little doggo is a little unhealthy, pop a relic, restore their health fully, and give them a nice little damage reduction boost. Also, if you see your pet go down, go save his ass. He saves yours all the time. Don't let him lay there until the end of the battle. No, do your best to get over there and save him. He does your best to go out there and save you. So, pay it back. Otherwise, those are your perks. Nice and versatile. Pretty good perks overall. I happen to like them. I think they work really well with a bunch of other classes or archetypes. So check them out, play around, build diversity. I'm going to say build diversity a bunch in this video. But build diversity is huge. Play around, break things, have fun. Let's move on to our skills overview. All archetypes are going to have 3 distinct skills that will completely change how you play, depending on which one you have equipped. You're going to have the guard dog, the support dog, and the attack dog. We'll first review guard dog. When you first start off with your handler, this is to be the first skill that you have unlocked. This skill turns your companion into a tank. The dog will generate extra threat to draw enemy attention away from you and your team. Plus, it'll give you a powerful howl, reduces damage for allies within range. Perfect for those crazy PvE encounters. Overall, it's going to give you 50% increased threat while attacking, and it'll reduce 20% incoming damage to all damage. If you single press a companion, you can actually tell the companion where to go. This is great if you want to have it lure out specific enemies or revive your friend. If you double tap it, you have the enemy come back to you. And if you hold down the button, you activate your skill and get a nice 15% incoming damage reduction to all damage. So nice little boost when you activate the skill. Not too shabby at all. All right, now let's go ahead and review the support dog. This one's unlocked at level 5. The support dog continuously heals allies near it. By holding the skill button, you can trigger a howl that grants a health regen boost and increased movement speed to allies. This is a go-to skill for healers and will provide extra support in co-op. This is nice overall. So same thing, single and double tap work the same. And then you'll have a nice 0.25 max health per second within 3.5 meters of your companion. Just an FYI, if you activate the howl and everyone's at full health, the only thing you're getting is a run speed boost. You have to be injured for the howl to give you your full boost overall. So now you have 2 of them. So not too bad. They stack, which is nice. So you get a nice overall health regen, which can help turn the tide of battle. Let's swap to our next skill of Act Dog. You cannot swap skills on the fly. That's why I keep resetting. Every time you swap a different skill, it goes on cooldown. So you have to wait 72 seconds when you swap to actually use your skills. Just FYI. The last one, Attack Dog. This is unlocked at level 10. Attack Dogs ups the damage output, dealing extra damage to enemies. The howl boosts damage for all allies, making this skill ideal for aggressive builds or boss fights where every bit of damage is going to count. So again, this is just a big boost of 20% additional damage. Single tap and double tap work the same. And when you hold it down, you're going to get an extra 20% damage boost, so you can dish out that damage and put the pressure on your enemies. So overall, these are pretty versatile skills depending how you want to play. Tanky, healy, yesy. So these are all very nice, versatile skills that you can play around with and work into your other type of archetypes and your build diversity. Moving on to handler traits and some tactics. So in Remnant 2, every single archetype will have its own specific trait. Handler has the trait Kinship, which is reduced friendly fire damage dealt and received by maximum 80%. As you level up, the other things unlock. These are specific to the archetype you're equipped. So if you equip the handler, by default, this will automatically be equipped. Anything else that you want to use, you'll have to play into, except for your secondary archetype. Equip, say, Challenger, you automatically will have Strong Back. So these are always 10 points that are already accounted for when you are using your traits. So not too bad. You always have this active when you're playing handler, which is nice because if you're firing and shooting off AoE abilities and your dog's in the way, it'll take 80% less damage from your AoE attacks. Also, just a tidbit, if you're playing around with like Firestorm or something like that, that's a pretty powerful mod that can do crazy AoE damage depending on how you're built, and you're playing with a co-op party. Kinship is extremely important to have, whether you're using the handler or not. Just to reduce that 80% friendly fire damage is very nice. So be mindful of how you're building when you're in co-op, and don't be a troll. Some other little tidbits about the handler. The handler skills can really enhance your team's performance. For example, the bleeding effect your dog inflicts can synergize with the various items and perks that your teammate might have. The dog's attacks count as player actions. You can get creative with status effect builds and buffs. So play around, break things, experiment, make something fun. There's so much build diversity out there. No, don't just follow a meta build on like different websites and whatnot. Really get nitty gritty and make your own build. Unless you just don't want to, you want to, whatever, save yourself time and go for it. But if you're into experimenting, there are probably some crazy builds out there you can discover. Have fun, break shit. All right, next let's jump into some of our advanced tips. The handler is all about micromanagement. Learn to position your dog strategically can make a big difference in combat. For example, you can use your dog to lure enemies out of cover, send them to trigger. You can actually turn around and say, hey, there's gonna be a room of enemies. Send your dog into that room, trigger the enemies, and from afar, just pick them off. So it's very great. If you have an enemy that's out in hiding and you know where it is, send your dog to that area, lure it out. If your friend is down, go ahead and send your dog to command it to go ahead and revive him. I think that the handler is all about an archetype that is easy to play but take times to master. And I think that knowing how to position your dog strategically and use its commands will set you apart from a person who's just playing the handler versus someone who's actually mastered it. So learn how to strategically position your dog, get them into place, how to use it, where to lure enemies out, and understand the mechanics of the handler in and out. It'll make you a better player overall, and help you stay ahead of the enemies out in the world. Also to note that the handler's dog counts as a summon. So items and rings that benefit summon will boost your companion's abilities too. Also, the dog's bleed effect can trigger on hit effects. You can get creative with stacking effects like haste using items such as Anastasia's ring. So play around. There's a lot of build out there. See what you can and cannot do. What works on a dog's abilities, attacks. You know, how does it affect them as a summon. Play around, see what happens. What breaks. What you can break. What build can you bring to the table and share with the community. Like I said, there's tons of build diversity. So have fun. Break shit. That's the guide on the handler. I just wanted to get a little nitty gritty detailed about it, how it actually works, and just show him how cute he is. I love his little scarf. Like, man, how could you not love his scarf? It's adorable. It's a great little doggo. Make sure you pet him and give him a little love because he's always saving your ass. But overall, in my experience, the handler has been one of the most versatile and beginner-friendly archetypes in Remnant 2. And for those who have nested him, has become an art just using him to save their asses and defeat the crazy enemies out in Remnant 2. With your loyal dog by your side, you'll always have someone watching your back, whether it's reviving you when you're down or distracting enemies while you pick them off from distance. The handler may not be a pure tank, but if you use them wisely, it can become one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. And that's all I got for today for the handler's archetype overview. I really hope you found this guide helpful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Remnant 2 content, and let me know in the comments which skill you were planning on using with your handler. But until next time, everyone, I appreciate you watching this. Peace out, alchemists.